Okay, you guys, Fort Huachuca, the public response, it was way too over the top. We don't really need to unpack everything that transpired, but suffice it to say, it was pretty clear they were panicking. They were bringing out Mitch's baby mama drama, sons, everything to say this never happened. And we're going, what's going on here? Why are you guys so freaked out about this base? Clearly something happened here. And we learn more that it's an intel base. We learn more about how they were teaching courses to their agents on how to pretend that they're Christians and to be inserted within Christian organizations. That got weird. That's definitely weird, right? And then came, obviously, the PR blunder. When people say too much, almost, in trying to debunk something, when they pretend like they don't even understand English words. Fort? Fort? Can you put it in a sentence? What's a fort? Gosh, these people are so insane. Erica wasn't at some fort. Okay, Andrew Colbert, little too much. Like I said, he's got a lead foot. Vroom, too quickly. 0 to 100, too fast. If I was their PR agent, and to be clear, I do think Turning Point USA should put me on a monthly consulting retainer. I can help. If it was me, I would have been like, oh, Fort Huachuca. Yeah, we all know Fort Huachuca. Yeah, Erica lives nearby. Actually, I think maybe her mom worked there. I don't know. Let me call her and see. She might have been there. I have no idea. I'll see. I'll get back to you. I would have played it cool. No. Andrew's all like, here's a picture of her with her babies on the wrong date. She wasn't building a pillow fort. No. She was eating burgers. I like Chipotle. What, Andrew? What are you saying? Why do you seem nervous? That was, people with common sense. That's how I think we all felt. And I am going to tell you a lot. I can, like I said, assert she definitely has heard of Fort Huachuca. So I was interested when some people that were based at Fort Huachuca back in 2010, around 2010, maybe 2011, reached out to me to inform me that they knew Erica and that Erica definitely knows the base because a bunch of people from the base were affiliated and had worked with her from about 2010 until around 2013 on a mini film that never saw the light of day. As evidence of this, because I was thinking, am I being trolled here? And then no, I wasn't being trolled. As evidence of this, they actually provided me with movie posters, which were professionally shot, and the movie, which was entitled November Renaissance. Okay, sure. We obviously we know that she did some acting or reality TV. I don't know how we would phrase it. We know that she was pursuing the stage, obviously. She was involved in pageants. And we're checking out this movie poster before I tell you what it's all about, what the movie itself is about. Just by way of association, virtually everyone involved in this movie, the actors, the stunt doublemen, they are involved with Fort Huachuca, okay? Involved with the military at the very least. The person they said she was really close to was Clayton Haugen. I hope I'm saying that last name right. Haugn. Maybe it's just Hogan. And he does marketing for the defense contracting firm Dillon Aerospace. There's Don Fry. Now, you might just think of him as a fighter, but he actually graduated from high school in Sierra Vista and then trained in judo at Fort Huachuca. There is Peyton McCormick. Her grandfather is Colonel Pete McCormick. Her father is Lieutenant Colonel Alan McCormick, once stationed at Fort Huachuca. Peyton was also, by the way, Miss Teen USA in 2006. Priscilla Annual. And again, we can pull up that poster, Skylar, so they can just see we're going through the names here as well. Her father was a lieutenant stationed at Fort Huachuca. There's also Chantel Thuy. I didn't have too much time to go through that person's background. I bet I could find a clear connection to Fort Huachuca since that's the theme. But we can tell you that her dad worked in artificial intelligence for IBM. So I'm thinking maybe he had something to do with Fort Huachuca. And then that Price Mitchum, that just gets dark. I mean, that young man or older man got put in a Psych 5150 hold. And I don't know where that direction heads to. Long family of actors. I've got to prod that narrative a bit more. The point is that they told me there's absolutely no way that she's not familiar with Fort Huachuca. I don't know why that was said. by Andrew Colvett. She most definitively was, just by nature, like I said, of what her mom did. And also, this poster proves it. Okay, that narrative is officially over. This whole, oh, this is crazy, what are we talking? Okay, that's just done. We can end that, okay? Erica in this film was set to play a character named Evelyn Mathis. We know this because we found the remnant of a Kickstarter that was still available to the public. Now, I wish I had given to this when it was first put up back in 2012, 2013, because I would then be able to open all of these posters and learn more about that particular character. But I can tell you definitively that this was a movie about corporate espionage, assassins, and technology, nanotech, all used to help the government and corporate financial institutions maintain power. I am not kidding. I'm going to read you the description here before showing you a video. It says, in the world of tomorrow, the mind has become a hard drive linked to the internet, and once the present divide between technology and humanity has become next to non-existent, driving this world forward are the many emerging multinational corporations that have grown in power far beyond the control of world governments. In this reality, financial institutions vie for dominance through corporate black ops. These clandestine endeavors are carried out by figures known as proxies, cloak and dagger assets that are hired in secret to remove rivals from power or to protect corporate capital from harm. Okay, and it tells us about the elites, the proxies, and I'm going to let you just actually take a listen to the director Clayton himself describe a bit about what this was intended to be about. I say intended because when you start reading the comments in the Kickstarter campaign, you realize they never delivered. They promised to deliver it in 2013. That didn't happen. Here is the director Clayton Hogan speaking about this movie.
What you guys just saw there was a visual pitch to really give you a feel for the atmosphere, but as far as concept goes, we really developed it around a number of questions that we were asking ourselves. Now, these questions range from anything from how can we manipulate someone's senses enough so that they believe a false reality when in reality something else is going on entirely? Or even how can someone like the class geek pirate and steal, say, the varsity quarterback's, knowledge and skill set? Or even more so, how can the knowledge and skill set of a Navy SEAL be copied and transferred to somebody else? And this concept became possible when we really pushed the boundary on what's called nanotechnology. That's tiny little microscopic machines that carry out their function on an atomic level. Now, with nanotechnology, we were able to create this plausible and believable mind-bending and reality-bending concept that is grounded in developing physics theories out there and developing science. So really the question you should ask yourself is, what happens in a world where the brain is a hard drive, your eyes become video cameras, and knowledge is not learned so much it is just programs that are installed onto you?
Yeah, so that's not going to help matters any in the world of us conspiracy theorists who kind of think that that's what's happening. Wasn't I just saying a couple of weeks ago that I feel like there are people that are walking around at the computer programs, and it's pretty obvious that they're just stealing companies, stealing land, infiltrating, doing these sorts of things. These people are not even successful. They're just thieves. They're glorified thieves with access to the military. Again, to be clear, this project was never released despite posting updates up to 2017. But I want to show you that to just confirm that our suspicions were correct. And that is now beyond ridiculous to suggest in any manner or form that Mitch's testimony that he plausibly saw Erica at Fort Huachuca is deranged, crazy, or figment of a madman's imagination. Again, these people who gave this to us were our friends with Erica. They know her. They say she knows about this space. So let's just shut that down. And there's a bit more I'd like to add here. A lot of you emailed and told us about a correspondence that had taken place online, a chat where a person shortly after Charlie's assassination, before there were any conspiracies in the air, said, "Oh, I saw Erica at Fort Huachuca." This was a woman, by the way, who wrote this. And then a bunch of people started yelling at her because she said that she had seen Erica the day before, which would have been September 9th, by the way, not the 8th. And she subsequently deleted the message. And there was no reason for her to have done that other than she thought, okay, maybe I was wrong. The whole internet is so mad at me for saying this. This person has absolutely nothing to do with Mitch Snow. So somebody else had published online that they could confirm that that was real. They were friends with that person. So to make that clear to you, so you understand the chain of custody of this information, the person who posted it is currently stationed at Fort Huachuca and deleted it. The internet caught that, or somebody on the internet caught that. And then a second person who was friends with that individual, who was formerly stationed as well at Fort Huachuca, said, yeah, that post actually happened. And there's more. I guess there are chats amongst our military personnel that are stationed there. And one of them asserted in this chat that they too had seen Erica at Fort Huachuca and that there was an order to lower drones on that day. So that brings us up to a total of 3 people. And the due diligence that I have done is that I have confirmed that third-party person who used to be stationed there, who knows the 2 individuals involved, okay, has a relationship with them today, is friends with them. So again, it's important to always say what the chain of custody is in case there is a mistake. But I did my due diligence to confirm that those people are real and that those people are in fact stationed at Fort Huachuca and that they made these statements not because they were being fed by the public one way or the other, but because they believed that they had seen her, okay? That puts a little more weight to the claim. Now, to be clear, I will say that once again, earlier this week, and I had to do homeschooling longer, so I have not been able to reply, but through one of the Turning Point executives, Erica, did send a video that I have been asking for regarding the Fort Huachuca alibi, but it wasn't, I don't think they're comprehending what I'm asking for, so it wasn't what I was asking for, and I need to now follow up with them, which I intend to do tomorrow when we have a day off. I think it's perhaps, to be fair, because we're going through a third person, maybe it's not clear what I'm asking for, so I'm going to send a video example of what I'm asking for, and hopefully I will have an update there. But